a medal. Keep pushing forward, never settle. Never settle. Keep it 100, yeah. On your way to the next level. Next level. And while you're grinding, making dreams come true, sometimes you gotta let your body loose. Down to party, but those dance moves to good use. Let your hands go up, stomp your feet. Let me see you kicking it back on the dance floor. On the dance floor. Feel the beat, electrified. Move your hips side to side on the dance floor. On the dance floor. On the dance floor. On the dance floor. Show up for yourself, never miss a single day. Be about it, let them know that you didn't come to play. 'Cause you got it, you mean it, you get there soon. And while you're grinding, making dreams come true, sometimes you gotta let your body loose. Time to party, but those dance moves to good use. Yeah. Let your hands go up, stomp your feet. Let me see you kicking it back on the dance floor. On the dance floor. Feel the beat, electrified. Move your hips side to side on the dance floor. On the dance floor. On the dance floor. On the dance floor.
Yo, yo, yo. Come on in, everyone. Good to see you, Miss Wade. Good to see you, Sarita. Come on in, everyone. Trying to make sure I'm not losing my voice.
You sure deserve a medal. Keep pushing forward, never settle. Never settle. Keep it 100, yeah. On your way to the next level.
Next level.
Next level. And while you're grinding, making dreams come true, sometimes you gotta let your body loose. Down to party, but those dance moves to good use. Let your hands
My
go
brother
up,
Damien in the
stomp
house.
your
Good to
feet.
see you, my
Let me
man.
see you kicking it back on the dance floor. On the dance floor.
You're going to have a lot to say about this one today, Damien. I want your input. What's up, Tone? Tone all day is in the house. Good to see you, my man.
Show up for yourself, never miss a single day. Be about it, let them know that you didn't come to play. 'Cause you got it.
You got
You
it.
mean
You mean
it. You
it.
get there soon. And while you're grinding, making dreams come true, sometimes you gotta let your body loose. Time to party, but those dance moves to good use. Yeah. Put your
Hands goes up, stomp your feet.
Let me see you kicking it back on the
All right. I'm ready now. I'm ready. I had to get the the operations going, man, and here we got it. We have our brother Operation Takeover in the house. Our brother Scotty in the house. Good to see you. Our brother C Wade is in the house as well too, man. How are you guys doing today, man? How are you guys doing? It is Sunday, October the 22nd. Guys, man, this month has been flying, man. This month has been absolutely flying. We are already at the end of the month just about, and it's been a very, very interesting month, guys. I'm talking about Lots going on in my professional career, lots going on in my personal life. All good things, still nothing to complain about, but busy. So last week, let me catch you guys up. I was in Mayakoba Beach, Mexico, to celebrate making a President's Club for the fourth time straight. Great time, beautiful beach. Just a good opportunity to spend some time with my wife and to spend some time with the people at the company that I work for. I was very, very just impressed by, the, people who reached out and was like, Antoine, man, congratulations, making club and so forth, because it is not something that's guaranteed on a yearly basis, right? You have to be able to put up numbers. You got to be part of the top 1% in a sales row. And I've been able to do that over the last couple of years. Now, we all talk about things like, how your results speak for themselves and so forth. And, you have to balance results also with balance of making sure that you are putting yourself in a good position by having sponsors in the company that you work for. So I'm going through a situation right now where there's some changes in the in the corporation that I work for, and new leadership and stuff like that is coming in. And I have to make sure that I balance myself with getting to know a lot of these new leaders in order for me to continue my career progression. Okay. If you don't do that in your career, it can potentially stunt your growth, right? What you may have in your mind may not be what comes out into the reality of it, right? And when there are abrupt changes in corporations, a lot of the times your sponsors may be gone. So you have to recreate new sponsors, and you have to find new mentors, and you have to buy into the new leadership's way of doing things, right? And those are transitions that I'm going through right now myself personally. But that's me personally. We've had a fantastic time in Mexico. Guys, the pictures are absolutely amazing. Hopefully I can get a chance to get back there sometime early next year and take the kids and so forth whenever we get all our passport stuff like that figured out. But absolutely beautiful time. Yesterday was a fantastic day as well. It was the last basketball game of the season for my son, and we went out undefeated, 7-0. We didn't crush the team, but we beat them 16-6. And just a fantastic time, guys. Being a head coach is teaching me a lot as well, too, about leadership and how I show up and how I want people to behave themselves and how I expect for them to perform. And it's helping around the board. So I involve myself in a lot of these situations to grow in my career. But enough talking about me. Today's show is going to be about, guys, many of you want to transition into the tech space. And one of the things you have to think about is how are you going to navigate your tech career? And I originally did a video about this that's going to come out next week. And it's really about tech sales. But I want for us to talk about it in a more of a tech general role, right? It doesn't matter what role that you're trying to get into tech. You need to know how to navigate your tech career. And in today's video, I want to talk about, the difference between working for a small company, a medium company, and a large company. Because let's just say you are looking to break into tech sales. Well, if you are looking to break into tech sales, should you be applying for small companies? Should you be applying for medium-sized companies? Should you be applying for large companies, right? What's going to give you the best opportunities to advance your career? So I think this is a very, very important topic for many of you guys who are looking to break into tech and choosing the right path that's going to help you to grow and ultimately get to you where you want to get to in your career. Okay, so that's what this conversation is going to be about today, guys. And I'm going to start the conversation off with working for a small company, then a middle-sized company, and then a large company. And I'm going to share my personal experiences working in these different types of companies as well, too. And I want for you guys also in the chat while we're talking about these different types of companies and the benefits, right, to give your opinion as well, too, because I'm going to look at the chat as I go through each one of these, and I want for you guys to share with me what your personal experiences are as well too, to help people make the right decision for themselves. And again, this could be if you are looking to break into tech sales, if you're looking to break into cybersecurity, if you're looking to break into software engineering, if you're looking to become a data analyst, whatever it is, it's across the entire board. And you should understand the differences between working for a small company, a middle-sized company, and a large company, and how you can navigate your career. Okay. So let's start here, guys. It's important to choose the best career path, but it's hard to do so. Choosing the best career path for yourself can be a very, very challenging decision. And there are many factors that you should take into consideration. And in this video, we are going to talk about the size of the company and the potential salary of the company, right? So size and potential salary is what I'm going to harp on today. Let's start with small companies, guys. Small companies, because there are many advantages working for a small company. I started my career working for a small company, okay? And it's given me a lot of opportunities. But the first advantage that I would say to working for a small company, and a lot of small companies are startups, by the way, is just that small company startup energy. Small company startup energy. Small companies are often startups, and they offer a wide range of innovative, people and innovative atmospheres, right? A lot of the times they work with new technology and they bring in new ideas. They have a lot of young people that's working for them that have gotten out of school. So there's a big energy to working for a small company, right? You have employees who are catalysts to change, and you have this big energy that's going around the company. I remember working for a small company, and we used to have, wind down Wednesdays when we used to drink at our office desk on Wednesdays. We used to have Thirsty Thursdays when we would drink beer in our office on Thursdays. And finally Fridays, where we can just open up any sort of bottle of alcohol that we wanted to as a small company at our desk. And it was really about, getting people together. We were all young. I mean, like freshly out of college, a good portion of us. We had some, middle-aged management and some senior leaders and so forth. But that startup energy was contagious. And it was, in my opinion, some of my best career times because of the energy, the contagiousness of having such young people who have brilliant ideas, and you're using the latest and greatest technology to solve problems for customers. The second advantage of working for a small company is the fact that you get a chance to wear many hats, right? You can become almost a jack of all trades, as some would say. In smaller teams, you're likely to gain a whole bunch of skills. You may one day be working or doing something for the sales team. You may, the next day be doing something for marketing. You may also have to put your head down and do some coding or some engineering or run a demo, right? That's the other brilliant part of small companies is you get to learn almost all aspects of the business because you would have your hands in it, and there's not a lot of resources to do that sort of stuff. So you can grow up very, very fast, and you would get a broad skill development working in a smaller company. That's another benefit. I love this aspect of it as well, too, because I wouldn't be as far along in my career if I wouldn't have touched many aspects of the business early on. And again, I came in my career as a software engineer, but I was doing, demos as well too. I was doing software engineering, working in the implementations organization. I was doing interviews with people. I was standing up in front of customers, talking about support and how we support our customers. All that sort of stuff will give you a good amount of skills, not just doing one thing all the time. That's a benefit of working for a small company or a startup. Another one also that I love about working for a small company is the fact that you can provide a bit more of a personalized client experience. When you have a client and you are a small company, you typically treat them like their family because a lot of the times they are all you have, right? And they, like that personalized experience. Instead of them calling support, they may be calling you. Or instead of them having to, call into IT, they may call you directly. And clients like that because what does it do? It saves them time. It gets them to the people that can actually solve their problems, right? A lot of times when you're in a small company, you may have a support team to, help with product issues and stuff like that. But if your client has the direct access to the software engineer who helped to implement the software, isn't that an easier way to go? Right. So you can offer that level of close client relationships and build those relationships. And clients really, really love that. I've seen clients when, they're in a small company, they can also have a huge impact onto the product roadmap as well. They can say, hey, you know what? This is what I'm thinking. This is what I see. This is what where the market is going, which can ultimately influence your product and your services that you offer as a company. And that is very, very valuable. And you will be able to build very, very strong relationships with these clients when you are at a small company because they're calling you all the time. You're flying them out, you're whining and dining and so forth. So those are my three biggest advantages for working for a small company. Now, there's some disadvantages, right? And our brother Damien, who's in the house right now, most recently worked at a small company, right? All those things that I said is true. But in his case, as somebody who was in the middle of his career, one of the things of these small companies is they may not have the perfect dress codes, right? Or HR policies in place or the right training in place, right? Where training may be bloated or they have people come into the office, dressed like should be at a gym, wearing short shorts and wearing shirts where they're showing all sorts of body parts, right? Those are some of the disadvantages of working for a small company. But if you are a younger individual, especially if you are a single male or woman, that may be your stick, right? That may be good. That may be the energy that you need, to build those relationships with people at that level in their lives, in their careers. Okay. So when you guys think about, working or transitioning to tech, think about all these things that I've mentioned working at a small company. Great energy, right? You get an opportunity to wear multiple hats, right? Easier to get into usually. Not only that, they may reward you with equity and so forth as you come into that company, right? You also get an opportunity to build those strong client relationships. Those are three big advantages of working for a small company. Now let's talk about things like salary, right? Let's talk about things like salary because salary is a huge piece of it as well. When you come into a small company, you're not going to be getting the money like you would at a large company or a middle-sized company because they can't afford to pay you as much. But it's a great place to go, especially if you are young and you want to thrive in your career, wear multiple hats and so forth. And it also really depends on how you are as a learner, right? As well, because the disadvantage of small companies is the fact that you kind of got to learn on your own. Let's just say you take a sales role in a small company. They may not have the training that you may need in order for you to become an effective salesperson. You may have to do your own research to get the necessary training that you need. It may be through Level Careers. It may be through Black Heights. It may be Course Careers. It may be Tech Sales Ascension. Whatever it is, you have to go out there and seek these opportunities in order for you to continue to learn. But what I do know about small companies is that they would pay for it. So they may not have the training in place in order for them to give you a structured training program. You may just have to go out there and find it on your own, expense it, or have your company pay directly for it. Okay. It's another trade-off about small companies. Again, if you are somebody who can navigate, navigate a bit of ambiguity, meaning that one day you're wearing or you're working doing something in sales, and the next day you're doing something in engineering, and you have this job title, but you're doing multiple things. If you can navigate that and you like that sort of structure and work environment where there is not a lot of structure, but you get a chance to make a significant impact, then a small company would be a good fit for you. A small company would be a good fit for you. Okay. Again, I typically recommend small companies for people who have the ability to see right through a lot of complexity. I typically suggest small companies to people who have a go-getter mentality, who want to wear multiple hats, who want to learn multiple aspects of the business, who want to build those client relationships. I typically would recommend a small company to somebody who is ambitious and they want to become an entrepreneur one day. Okay. I don't recommend small companies to individuals who need structure, who need a lot of structure, who is more senior in their career, because they then have to deal with all of the young energy. And a lot of the times you just don't have that energy to share back with those young individuals. I don't recommend small companies for people who are a little bit later in their career and in the middle of their career, who don't want to spend a lot of that energy with some of these young folks. Okay. So that's small companies. And I want to hear what you guys think about it as well, too, when you're talking about small companies, right? Tell me what you guys think. All right. Let's also talk about middle-sized companies. I'm stuffy today, guys. Must be from the cigar smoke yesterday. But medium-sized companies have advantages as well. And I think medium-sized companies kind of offers the balanced experience. And I think middle-sized companies are where a lot of people should go, especially if they're looking to break into tech. I like middle-sized companies, although I started my career with a small company and we grew to a medium-sized company. Okay. And then I moved over to a small company and we grew ourselves to a medium-sized company who is now public, right? You would almost consider us to be large, but we don't have those large processes in place, which is a reason why we probably aren't as efficient as we should be in going through a bit of, challenge in the workforce, right? But medium-sized companies offer balance. That's what it does. So they have more structure. They have a more structured environment, right? They have more established processes, more established structure. So if you are somebody who's looking for structured training, looking to have a clear career path, then a medium-sized company will offer you that. They will have processes in place that exist. They will have structures in place that exist. They won't be having that startup mentality, and a lot of that startup energy has gone as well, although they may have it in certain departments, right? But medium-sized companies provide stability, and they also provide support for your career growth because they have that structured training. They have those processes in place. They also offer quite a bit of opportunities as well, meaning that those roles in a medium-sized company are already defined, and they have a variety of roles, which will allow for you to specialize in a certain part of the business, right? Typically, sales is all sales. Typically, marketing in a medium-sized company is all marketing. Typically, engineering is all engineering versus a startup where, your sales and your engineering could be all tied together because there's really no full structure that's there in place because you guys you're roughing it. You're roughing it. You may be doing engineering and sales at the same time, but in a medium-sized company, that's not the case. Okay. Medium-sized company will have that structure in place. They will have the different organizations that exist, and you can then navigate those organizations. So there will be a variety of roles that exist, and you can one day be in sales, the next day, as you continue to climb in your career, move over to product management. And you can do that in a medium-sized company because those career paths are clearly defined for the most part, and their structures and training are in place. Okay, let's also talk about the client base when it comes down to a medium-sized company. Typically, medium-sized companies have, a good, solid client base. They have recurring revenue that's coming in, right? Offering the opportunity for medium-sized companies to offer a personalized client relationships, but also a more, established, more structured client relationships in a client base, right? So medium-sized companies might, have a client base that's continually to build out over multiple industries as well too, which will give you opportunities to learn, maybe about the automotive industry, if you're in the supply chain, or if you're in consumer products, or if you are in, food and beverage or retail, right? You would learn about those different industries because of your growing client base in a medium-sized company. So those are the three advantages that I would say that a medium-sized company offers to individuals. Number one, right? You would get the opportunity to have more structure. You will be in a more structured environment. Your company pretty much is stable at that time, right? You will have more stability in your career and a safety net for career growth, right? These companies, medium-sized companies, offer diverse opportunities, right? You can specialize in something. You can be a generalist. It's your call. You can choose to climb the ladder the way you want to. They also offer a good amount of clients across, a growing client base. And always are looking to welcome new clients to that client base as well. Okay. So think about that from your perspective. If a medium-sized company is right for you, in my personal experience, I like medium-sized companies. I suggest individuals who are looking for more structure to go to a medium-sized company because it offers that level of structure, right? I prefer individuals to go to a medium-sized company when they're a little bit more senior in their career as well too, because it provides them that safety net and still gives them that opportunity to grow within their career. Or if they don't want to grow in their career, they can still be in a specialized role working for a medium-sized company and just doing the exact same thing, being expert in their field, in their area. Great place to be working for a medium-sized company. And not only that, the salary, they pay more in a medium-sized company than they do in a startup, right? They just do. Companies typically are making more money, have more established clients, which ultimately means that they pay their employees more. Okay. Now let's go to large companies. Large companies, and I haven't worked for a large company for a long time, right? So early in my career, I was with a company called Red Prairie. Then we acquired a company named JDA, which we rebranded ourselves to be JDA, which was a good-sized public company. We took them private. And then that company transitioned to Blue Yonder, which is a large company, right? But JDA was typically a large company. Big boy processes. They grew up. They were a public company at the time. Structured. You had to go through processes. A lot of bureaucratic decision making, and people in top positions that could potentially help you in your career or make your career not what you want it to be. But what I would say is an advantage of it is the fact that they do have extensive resources. I mean, these companies have a lot of resources, including some of the best training programs that exist out there. You won't have to worry about going for outside training, typically at a large company, because they train people with the materials that they have internally. And they have organizations or a HR or a training organization that is responsible for doing that. So they take the best and brightest minds and make sure that they put all this information into an organization that will be able to help educate their employees. So you will get that structured training. You will be able to, navigate the complexities of the large organization by following processes, right? You can't just a lot of times just go to legal and say, hey, you know what, get this contract out for me. No, there's a process in place where you have to create a ticket here, and there's SLAs behind those, and it takes things a little bit longer to operate in a bigger company. Now, I would say another benefit of it is that there's a lot of career advancement opportunities in large corporations, right? There's a structured career path. There's a structured career path. And one of the cool things about large corporations is when you come into a large corporation, especially when you're younger, they kind of almost see if you're going to be somebody who they can fast track, right? So they have these programs in their company that allows for who they think are talented individuals who have a chance to be a leader one day and put them into these accelerators where they want to invest into their top performers. Now, if you're not a top performer, then you're going to get the structured training like everybody else gets. But there are clear career advancement opportunities in some of these large companies. You know what you need to do in order for you to get there. And another thing that is an advantage of working for a large company is just the brand recognition. Just imagine having Google on your resume. Just imagine having LinkedIn or Microsoft or any of these other large companies out there as a brand that you've worked for. Well-known brands can do a lot. That's brand royalty. It's a badge. It swings the door open. It's almost like when you work for companies like Google and Oracle and some of these large brands, it's a badge, right? People are going to look at you like, man, you got a master's degree and stuff like that. So it's going to open more doors for you. When you see people who work for Netflix and they're engineers, and then next thing you know, they're working for Google, it's because they worked for Netflix before. When you see people who've worked in tech sales and worked for Oracle and now they're working for Microsoft, it's because they worked for Oracle before and Microsoft before. Then they can go to Google and so forth. So the brands are very, very important. And that's the benefit of working for a large corporation. But again, it could be challenging working for a large corporation also, because if you are not a top performer, you have to wait your time out. You have to figure out a way how you can navigate the complexity. There's a lot of, decision making in processes that just may not be crystal clear, although there are processes that are there. Not as efficient. It takes a long time to turn the ship around, right? But the benefits is that they have an endless arsenal of resources. Like from diversity and inclusion programs and, specific training for Latinos and for any sort of, for female, women empowerment, all that sort of stuff. They have the resources that are there. And if you, like to work for big brands and want to have opportunities to be amongst, get the best training that exists out there, then large corporations will work for you. I am not a large corporation guy. I feel like I'm a small fish in a big pond when I'm in a large corporation. That's why I transition out of a large corporation to a smaller corporation, because I like to see the impact that I make. And a lot of times in large corporations, you don't see the impact because you don't even see how your work really impacts the overall business, right? And not only that, working for a large corporation, we've seen in these tech layoffs what's happened as well too. They let go thousands of people, tens of thousands, right? 14,000 by Nokia most recently, right? You had the Microsoft early in the year, laying off thousands, Facebook, hundreds of thousands, right? There's a lot of people for these corporations. And a lot of times you are just a small fish in a big pond, and your number is just waiting to be called, right? If you are not one of those high performers, and even if you are a high performer, your number is just waiting to be called, because a lot of people don't know you. They see you as just another number, and they see you as a cost. If you're not delivering value, it's going to be very easy to get rid of you in a large corporation. So, guys, I want your opinion. Many of you guys have worked for a large corporation before. Many of you have worked for a middle-sized company. Many of you guys have worked for small companies. In the chat, I want you guys to give me what your thoughts are, right? What was your experience working for a small company? What was your experience working for a medium-sized company? What was your experience working for a large corporation, right? Share that with me. Share that with the audience in the chat as well, so that they can see exactly your experiences. And if this is resonate with you guys, I'm glad that it's resonating with you. I typically tell people or encourage my coaching clients that if they want to have that brand recognition and have a lot of job opportunities in their life, then go to a large company, but only if they are, early in their career. Try to go for that large company if you're early in your career. You have the time, right? If you have a clear understanding of what it is that you want to do, right? Engineer, software engineer, working for a large company like a Google, Microsoft, Netflix, all those FANG companies, and some of the other large companies, HP and, automotive industries and stuff like that, and in the tech, work for those large companies, because that brand recognition is going to be very, very helpful for you. And not only that, you're going to get some really good sound training and understand processes very, very well. If you have a hustler's mentality, consider a small company. If you want to go fast, consider a small company. If you want stability and want some structure as well, consider a medium-sized company, right? As there's no one size fit all, right? And it really also depends on where you are in your career. Me going to work for Google or Microsoft right now or Oracle just doesn't make any sense, right? I want to have an impact. So I prefer smaller companies or medium-sized companies where I can make an impact. Large companies, and me, I just don't have the energy for them, and I don't have a lot of the energy for a lot of the processes that they have in place. I like to be able to call and pick up a phone to get something done. And in a small company, you can certainly make that happen. In a middle-sized company or a medium-sized company, you can make that happen as well too, although there may be a bit of pushback because of policies and stuff like that. But another advantage of the large company as well is that they pay well. They pay well. If you look at, some of the jobs that are out there, from, tech sales to engineering to cybersecurity, a lot of these salaries that we talk about on this channel is coming from the numbers that these big companies are paying their people. So when you see somebody making $600,000 a year, don't expect to be making that for a small company, right? If you see somebody making $700,000 a year, typically that's working for a large company, right? When we talk about these salary figures, large companies just ultimately pay more, especially in specialized roles. Middle-sized companies pay very well as well, but middle-sized companies aren't going to be paying you $1 million a year. They just can't afford to do it. Small companies can't do that either, right? So I want for you guys to give me your experiences here. I'm going to go through the chat real quick. Damien, appreciate the $5 super chat, my man, for the pre-show concert. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. And Professor Blackouts, I appreciate you for the $20 super chat, my man. He says, salute to the BH and ladder climbs. I appreciate you, my man. Let me go to these chats and see what you guys are talking about. My brother Paul's in the house. Good to see you, my man. Happy Sunday to all. Davies in the house says the blazer's looking sharp. Yeah, y'all like this blazer? You know, I got some new threads. My tailor came to town a couple weeks ago and came from Malaysia. And I got my professional game back up. So I got 2 new blazers, 6 new dress shirts, and I got some other stuff done that I haven't gotten yet. But I'm going to be wearing, going to be mixing up the little professionalism and the streetwear or whatever you call it at times. I just felt like today that I wanted to have the, throw the blazer on. I haven't worn it yet, but you guys seem to like it. I appreciate it, man. Let's see. CJ Moore said, would never go to a small company for early career. Wow. Explain, CJ. Why wouldn't you go to a small company for early career? I definitely want you to elaborate on that one. Operations Takeover, Big Bro Anton. I'm focusing on any company that would give me the great training and help me grow as a person and a seller. Then for you, Brother Scotty, a middle-sized company would be a good fit for you. A good fit, and a larger company would be a good fit as well, too. CJ said he wouldn't go to never go to a small company. Damien says, in a large company, usually career path is often defined. In a small company, I'm more able to define my career path and my progression. That's true. That's absolutely right, Brother Damien says. And I would say this. Small companies, you can define, like Brother Damien said, you can define how you want your career to go. Easily. Because you're the one who's mapping it out. Large companies, they would have strict policies regarding what you can do, how long you got to be in a role, and so forth, right? And being a high performer, a lot of the times, those numbers don't match up, right? Why do I need to be in a role for 3 years before I can advance? I don't like that. Why can't I be in a role for 2 years or a year and a half before I can advance? That's the difference between a small and a large company and a middle-sized company. Professor Black Ops says, I love small companies. I did everything from programming to DBA and system admin. Absolutely. You can do it all. That's the cool thing about working for a small company. You can do it all. I mean, especially if you're in a tech space, you would touch it all, see it all, wear multiple hats, get paid a good amount of money. If that company grows into a medium-sized company, you would typically probably be selected as management, right? If that company goes IPO, you have equity and all that sort of stuff, right? Now, there's a huge shift that has to take place before a small company becomes a middle-sized company and becomes a large company. And it comes down to processes. It comes down to process. That's it, right? Processes that are in place so that when people aren't in place or when people leave, right, the business continues to operate. In small companies, typically what happens if Professor Black Ops, who's doing DBA work, system admin work, coding and stuff like that, Professor Black Ops don't show up, nothing ain't getting done, right? Nothing's getting done. Whereas a big company, Professor Black Ops don't show up. He goes to another company. Easy. They already got people that's ready to plug and play. My brother Jacob Small says, I work for a large and small company. I would say working for a small company makes you feel noticed. I can see my products launch and interact with different departments. In large companies, not so much. Absolutely right. Absolutely right, Brother Jacob. You're absolutely right. Michael L. Carter, I agree in a general work perspective. A small company, you take on a broader job role and responsibilities. It's true. Professor Black Ops says, big company, big ass money. Made my first 100K in 2005, Department of Defense contractor. I'm telling you, man. I am telling you. Brother Damon says, I work for 3 Fortune 500 companies. It's all true. The financial numbers drive the decisions, including all the way down to the layoffs. That's right. That's right. You can work for some of the large corporations, but at the end of the day, when they're looking to reduce staff, no matter how much of the impact that you've made, no matter how much the impact that you've made for that company, you're just a number. You're just a number. Whereas for a small, medium-sized company, you that impact is taken in consideration. That impact is taken into consideration. Also, relationships that you have with people is taken into consideration as well. Nuts says, great info as always. Operation Tech Takeover. Being in my 40s, I think I'm leaning more towards a medium company for my first role. That way, I have great training to transitions to a startup so I can get an IPO bag as well. Absolutely. CJ Moore says, small companies have less bandwidth and patience to teach and margin of error for inexperience. That's absolutely right. I get it, CJ. You're right. You got to go out there and learn on your own a lot of times as a working for a small company. You have to go out there and read books. You have to struggle a lot of the times. You're going to learn very, very fast because you're going to be thrown into the fire and you're going to have to get out or you're going to have to sink or swim, right? I love that aspect of it though, CJ. Whereas it depends on your learning style. Many people don't like that. Many people don't like that at all, right? A lot of people just don't want to get on the bike and fall down a couple times before they learn how to ride. They want that process to be in place of how to ride that bike in order for them to get on the bike, right? And I'm more of the fall down type of a guy from experience. That's just my learning style, but I get it. I mean, like everybody's learning style, most people have a different learning style and you just have to go through what is a best fit for you. And I'm glad that you know that small companies aren't for you. Operation Tech Takeover says this. LOL, just thought that glad I am on the same page as my brother. I love the community and my BH family. I always had learned something new when I'm here. I appreciate you, man. And I work for a large company, but the tech department is kind of small. Yes, that can happen too, right? You can work for a large company. Tech department could be small where you can wear multiple hats. And a lot of this for small or large companies also, they could have different flavors depending on, how their company is built, right? You can work for a large company that's done a lot of mergers and acquisitions, and they can have certain parts of that business that operates like a startup still, a medium-sized company, right? Where they're trying to influence it to grow to something a little bit larger, right? So you can have a little bit of multiple, large company with a small company sort of environment for a certain division and so forth, right? We are a medium-sized company, but the organization that I am responsible for, we operate as like a startup. We make decisions fast, and that can also cause competition inside your company because you may say, "Hey, I need somebody for marketing," where they don't have the resource to be able to support you. And next, you're causing a disruption into their business model and what they have to do and their goals and stuff like that. So there's a balance of it all, and again, there's no one size fit all, but you can see the different flavors of what these companies have inside of them as well. You can work for a small company as well who's been around for quite some time, but they have big boy processes. They just choose not to expand and they continue to stay at a small company doing what they do, right? You can work for a medium-sized company that has still a small company mentality and still operate like Wild Wild West. That's kind of us, right? So there's no one size fit all, but I want for you guys to think about this from the standpoint of what you're going to do in your tech career and the decisions that you want to make when you are looking to make your transition into tech, whether that's tech sales, engineering, cybersecurity, IT. Consider the size of the company that you're going to work for. That's going to be a huge decision for you in your career and how you are able to navigate your career and the opportunities that you're ultimately going to get. A recap: large companies, many benefits, high pay, powerful brand recognition. Medium-sized companies, stability, processes are typically established. Small companies, energy. I mean, that energy is absolutely contagious. I loved working for small companies. I love still working for small companies. Right? If I was going to make a career change, I want to work for a small company where we can grow it. And I can see how my work is going to impact the overall business. And you can do that very clearly in a small company. All right, guys. That's all I have for you guys today. I know it's a short show, but I wanted to just come to you guys and share this with you guys. And hopefully you guys have got some game from this. And You know how we do it. We be back next Sunday, or actually, we're going to go back to Saturday shows since basketball season's over. So we're going to go back to Saturday shows, and I'll see you guys on next Saturday. Until next time, guys. Peace. Let me read some more of these comments in the chat. Bayless Code says, being at a mid company in a smaller dev department myself, my impact shielded me a bit from layoffs. When you touch a bit of everything, web dev, DBA, security, it's hard for a company to get rid of you. You are absolutely right, Bayless Code. 100%, my man. 100%. We've gone through that as well, too. And, you know, a lot of people were let go. And they did make an impact. But the more impact that you make, the less likely you're going to be laid off. Nut says, I'm working for an old big company as a UX UI designer. There are a lot of antiquated processes and people who want to keep things the same. So sometimes we butt heads with stakeholders. That's right. I mean, that's another thing about these big companies, man. They're slow to change. I'm like, it's hard turning that ship around. Guys, if you don't know what you want to do in your career, check out the Black Heights Coaching Network. Join us on www.blokheights.com. Join the newsletter for new articles that come out monthly. If you're looking to advance your career, to break into cybersecurity, check out Level Careers. Check out our partner Course Careers for IT. You're looking to transition from being an SDR to an AE, check out Level Careers. If you're looking to transition from an SDR to a sales engineer, check out Level Careers. Okay? Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Until next time, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll catch up next weekend.